참아놓다 네 대랑 그리고 싸워한다 아니 진짜 가셔야 되네 다 싸워한다 또 가서 내가 때문에 대랑 하고 당 고주에 대해서 지키 다샘 선수샘 좋았던 게 되는 데가 참이 마트에 방에 부자는 소소 남는 용도가 따라왔던 방이었지.
So we're in the year of 2020, and it's a new, so in a new time, and I would like to announce that we're going to begin our new year with a new topic and something we refresh or make it new, and that is our excellent topic which we're choosing, that is bodhicitta, the awakening mind. And I wish each of you make a prayer in your mind and wish and prayer that you're going to take advantages of the great opportunities you have in this year 2020. And particularly in your prayer, make wish that you're going to dedicate yourself through practice of awakening mind or the bodhicitta, and to improve the qualities of your life and your understanding of the purpose of the life.
좀 예스 지금 그거죠. 니즈 상습지 세련보치 정위틀라 니즈. 아니 근조 상습지 셈 정위를 바탕 동대 상습지 셈 정위를 바고 당보라 덕진난 직비고 셈필 코나타 바탕 셈 정위를 바 제바 니도 습지 니즈다 당보텔라 절대 탁바 첨볼은 직기나드나 직비고 하고 강원에 인양나 다 탁바침 몰라지고 강진나 때라 예의 바로 드신 바 탁바당 뭐지 탁바니 오르 타진 지고 때라 가르 바로 드신 비 탁바당 가지 지고 니오르 때라 델리잡비 탁바도 메도 델리잡비 탁바침도 요아 말지 에네데나 니와 강기고니 지기스나 때 가나지 티나라다 탁바침 몰람나 지바이나 지식 고루 가르진 지거즈나 지고는 상치sem 코나이노서 어다 지고 세바텔라 상치sem 코나 다템 지고르지 때다 티 gel라 남기와나 젠강 마티 자 탁와첨보는 조파이노서 정치 셈랑 gel라 계속나 때 잠바 타와도 요디 강메나 티 강성탱이 정치 셈만 조파스 때좀 전에 동마니 또나 소파 요정 메토제 냔티라 소파 통을지로제 베나 정치지 셈동송한데 저때 때에는 대당 저에는 수수길라네 동이도 로로스고 요나양 냔티기다 산홍로마도 탁바침볼라는 저거 말했습니다. 탁바침볼이 냠바 탁바침볼 용성 마시고 송성 리피경 리파이노스 어떤 때 탁바침볼 어떻게 정도만의 송요를 때 리피트나양고 적거래서 그런 상치 셈바세 때 티gel라 상치 셈요미기 저거로 때 상치 셈때 냠소나 때 상치 셈바 저거 말스 때나 당보 터진 탁바침볼 서와요 샘데 기와 좀 조고 왔다 뭐 터치 뭐 터진지 나라 제야 성취sem 기라 기와 조고래 터진지 나라 나니 톰바용 대동 카트와 조고래서 터진지 나니 타 톤송의 그때 그 성취sem 등 카트나 터진나 터로고요. 대자다 탁바체 모두 탁바는 샘데 요 미점기 지스 로독셰도 다 존지리 상처 샘기 있잖아 같이 코로존을 좀 냠카나 대상남지 세시 조셔서 어다들 상처 샘기라 기온도 되라네 여기시 내선스비 많다 그래서 아니 코로알 조로리 토로알 터니로 그래서 그래서 시와당 대랑 상기랑 뜻이 대랑 상기로서 성지스 따져서 대다 상기라 기온도 나시고 대랑 따져 도지 다들 받지나
Oh, yeah. All right. As I promised, we're going to start our new year with the excellent spiritual awakening, the essence of a spiritual awakening quality, that is bodhicitta. To discuss bodhicitta, we have to go through the following few subjects. or the topic. First of all, like in the text says, there are two approaches to the basic practice of developing precious awakening mind. That is, first of all, is that deal with the process of training in the conventional awakening mind. So the conventional awakening mind, and then that involving the process of cultivating and the ultimate awakening mind. And the former, the conventional awakening mind, included the explanation of how we are able to enter the greater vehicle only by cultivating the altruistic mind of enlightenment, and is followed by the scripture descriptions of actual techniques for cultivating the precious awakening mind. The later deal with the development of the view of emptiness that will be discussed later. So now, the appreciating the value of the awakening mind, that is the entrance to the great vehicle. So now here the key concept is the great vehicle, or Mahayana. So we have to learn what is Mahayana, how to qualify, how to determine whether you are qualified to be the followers of the Mahayana practice teaching, or the path which you are follow, whether it is a Mahayana or teaching or not. So to understand the importance of this concept, Mahayana, or the great vehicle tradition, then we have to understand the following main topics. So since it is necessary to embark upon the great vehicle, as pointed out above, you may wonder what is the entrance to the such activity. Okay. It started that there are two aspects of the great vehicle or Mahayana teaching. This the practice of the practice of the transcending perfection, and those of the secret mantra. So in other words, there are only two Mahayana teachings. So here is Mahayana teaching, a great vehicle teaching. There's two forms of Mahayana teaching. One is the Sutrayana, technically called Sutrayana, or transcending perfection. The practice of the transcending perfection. Another is called secret mantra, or called Vajrayana or Mantrayana. So there are only two traditions, and if you talk about the teachings of Mahayana, so there's no any third one, and that can be named or considered as Mahayana teaching. So the Buddha, the conqueror, we know this, and from the two different ways. One is from the scripture. So what is Mahayana? What is not a Mahayana? And first of all, you go with what the Buddha said, according to the scripture. And then secondly, you also have to, you got determining whether the teaching, a particular teaching that you follow is Mahayana teaching or not, is through the logical reasoning, by analyze the nature, or examine the nature or the qualities of the teaching that you follow. And so to do that, so we have to know that the way to get into the Mahayana teaching, and there is an entrance, something like a gate. The gate you get into it. What is that gate? The gate is the generation or the practice of bodhicitta, awakening mind. Also, there is a way you can determine whether you are off or you're out. The practice or the teachings, views that you engage in is not belong to the Mahayana teaching, and also you can determine whether you are following the teachings of bodhicitta, and or the practice that you're doing is focused on the awakening mind. So, in other words, as soon as you drop the precious awakening mind, then you are out from the Mahayana teaching. And as soon as you get in and maintain and adhere to that very precious awakening mind. That is the essence, the essential point of the Mahayana teaching. Then you are an actual. What you do in the practice, that is the Mahayana teaching. So whether you are separated or not separated from the Mahayana teaching is totally depend upon how well and whether you are enter into the practice of the precious awakening mind or not. And so this can be also understood at this point by the if we go with what Shanchideva said in his guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life, where he said, the instant the awakening mind is cultivated, those bound up in the prison of cyclic existence come to be known as the sons of the Buddhas goes to bliss. And also he said, today I have been born into the family of the Buddha, and I have become a son of awakening ones. So, yes, the point is that as soon as you generated the precious awakening mind or the bodhicitta, and then you are the followers of Mahayana, and your spiritual identity at this very point is a bodhisattva. Okay, you are bodhisattva, and the practice that you that you undertaken is Mahayana. And as soon as you drop or you separate your practice and from this very important bodhicitta, the essence of Mahayana teaching, then you are no longer belong to the families of Mahayana tradition.
na papa shambe number thawali karzna riki wonder da te wina dorje rembochi chagtyong seji yente papa thamchil ki siki nonjong dorje rembochi mayo mandorla wa thamchi jong number jonte riki wo devjun te sangchi ikemba semke be dorje rembochi nandan de teworsepi nyanti darang sangi ki yonde siki nomba thamchi siki nonjong sangchi ki sema mandoro khruwe thamchil jong number jonkozile tan de kar songorjuna hui guni songorda ne sangchi ki semtarang ge la ki tangena gangso de ne pena gen tamchi gin dorji phalumde da ko zum cha songay na dorji phalum mo jen de ge kamar de ne ko gen tamchi gi nang seki no ba nangjin dorji phalum nang sangchi ki semrang ge la yona gangso ki ge la sem sangchi ki sem yu bi sangchi seba de ge ti dang na ba tamchi de ne ji yanti angela sopa de really seki no ni ane punzu sopa de korang ga ne ji kad kar thena na korang ge la sangchi sem de yo za ti ge sangchi sem ro chi ti top ki ane ko ti dang na ba tham che de ne ka yu ma zo na ta ka chang ni nyam ko mare o da pena ko sangchi sem si mon do te ko mar de sangchi sem ba de ti niwa de ti dang na ba de sem de yo za ti ge kang so ti niwa de ge pena dorji phalum da chikpaji dorji phalum chasona dorji phalum garin thang ta ga de dor otte tong nang je rezini otte songa be gone.
Okay, so to make the point clear or help you to understand what is the bodhicitta or the precious awakening mind and how important it is, here we have a reference, and so according to the teaching, the sutra, and here says that the life story of excellent Maitreya, actually, according to the scripture, of the life story of exalted Maitreya. And here it says that, "Oh, child of my family, here are some analogies. The awakening mind is like a diamond, even a fragment of which surpasses all other kinds of valuable ornaments such as gold, which retains the name diamond and can eradicate all poverty. O child of my family, in the same way, the precious diamond-like mind, which gave rise to omniscience, even when it is weak, outshine all the golden qualities adorning the heroes and salutary realizers. Because of it, you maintain the name Bodhisattva and eradicate all the poverty of cyclic existence. So what's the key point here is through the example by this analogy of a diamond. We know diamond is among the old ornaments or all the precious stones and jewels, and the diamond is of most valuable and most precious one. Right? So this is, you can think about diamond and as a bodhicitta. Okay? So you could have all kinds of the diamond and the jewels, and but among all the jewels, if you have a particular one kind of jewel, and that is diamond, even diamond, the ornaments or whatever you in whichever the form you have this diamond, even that fell into many pieces and broken into the a fragment and 100 pieces, but the quality, the value of the diamond still remain. Right? It's still the same. It doesn't affect the name of that very material and or that jewel we call diamond. It's still diamond, and it also doesn't affect the qualities of and that very precious stone of the jewel we call the diamond. Similarly, among all kinds of teachings, spiritual practice and the spiritual and traditions and teachings, and even in the case of Buddhism, among all the forms of different teachings, that if you be able to understand and then appreciate and practice the bodhicitta, the diamond-like, the precious awakening mind, and whatever you do, all right, even and so it is there are moments, there are times, so you feel weakened, and so the practice was not everything was not in place or wasn't the perfect, and so there are some errors occur and some imperfect things happening, and or you the things which you done is improper or whatever, and but because you essentially and adhere to the precious awakening, the diamond like the bodhicitta, the awakening mind, so therefore, and even under the circumstances that your behavior and the things you do is not efficient, not perfect, but because essentially your mind, your entire mental attitude, your mind is been up on hold or been programmed and or was adhered to this diamond-like the bodhicitta, the awakening mind. So therefore, and as far as your spiritual identity is concerned, you are still bodhisattva. As far as your practice is concerned, your practice still bodhicitta, or the practice of the awakening. And so it doesn't change your spiritual identity, as well as it doesn't affect you and the qualities, actual qualities of your spiritual achievement. And this can be compared like the heroes or Shiravaka, the followers of the non-Mahayana practitioner, and such as Shravaka or the Pratyeka Buddha, solitary realizer, and even though they practice right and very diligently, and they have they understand the point of view of emptiness, and they realize the ultimate reality, the emptiness, but because they compromised or they kept the precious bodhicitta, the essential practice of Mahayana way, and they didn't stay and adhere to, and they didn't follow this essential practice. So therefore, they are not a bodhisattva, and their practice is not a Mahayana teaching. By contrast, on contrary, so if you stick onto this very the precious bodhicitta, and then whatever you do, and your practice and yourself will be bodhisattva, and your practice is the bodhisattva's practice.
对，这在上次参赛的，咱中国是个上次参赛的，干这个样个的子呢，上次参赛的都把你的这个，甚至他们是等我里这个问的，对吧？当的呢，登记对吧？托个问的，托不是吧？托不就是托不写个问的，托不写别吃的，答应当做是不是他们这个多的，我们做不是上级问的，上路都当的比参去了上次参赛过的，但别连白呢，别几个米几个了，可能了呗，有么个刚刚全部只有呢。딱 그런 거 동바 탐질의 유문 쳐다오나 그런 거 땅에 섬치다 탐지기 유문들 세고 네 유문들 스위치했다 섬치탐 유문들 스위치했다 나랑니 땅고 키와지네 이게 장네 그래서 정말 쳐서 키와치서나 얘들이 오늘 연들도 밥해 주더니 밑에 탐지기 유문 세기 삼비 삼로 땅에 동종 지기지나 어따 띠도 셈자 쳐고 쳐다오라 그런 섬치 탐지기 유문 스위치했다 그런 깔리냐고 아 잠반미 잔치가 내요 말하는 이게 장치니 말하지 마베 이친보다 소소그지 전통 여지 조고 선배는 때 착해요 말때 이거 삼로 야채 좀 때리지라
뭔가
고소해요
야야 내가 미 잡아시기 깔리잖아
잡아티기 딱 그런 거 지금 소소랑니 그 유무세와동 소소랑니 야기와 채도 삼바이나 띠 삼로 야충하는 그런 식부터 온다래 젠데가 섬지 탐지 이문 세체도 그런 정권 얘기 정확히 보장 거다. 선바 야시 종료라. 어디 나지 상치지 샘세야 때 근데 삼로 야치 모르니 대화 등을 타와 토바 쳐봤대. 랑 코니도 더 되지도 많이 버전 섬지 탐지 등을 이따 대화 당다 버시 채트 삼로 등 될라다 상치 샘세 거. 근데 삼로들 상치 샘세 거였어.
So we talked a whole lot about the kind of importance and the background and the actual the scripture relations of bodhicitta within the framework of Buddhism, and so we understand at this point that the precious awakening mind of bodhicitta is indeed something essential, something absolutely important, and it's excellent practice is the heart of the enlightenment, the path of the enlightenment. So it is precious. Now the question is, what is that precious mind actually is, right? How you characterize that essential precious awakening mind? Well, to understand the essence or the characteristics of bodhicitta, the precious awakening mind, we know that the precious mind of awakening essentially has marked by two important spiritual quality. So first is that as a bodhisattva or the practitioners of bodhicitta, so you aimed, you understand, you always focus on the liberation of the all sentient beings suffering. In other words, so you understood all sentient being one way or another experience suffering, okay, a form of suffering or suffering and within the samsara. And you see the suffering, and so you want to do something about it, okay? And that is you are then you determined. You have developed a strong intention, and you determined and to relieve or free all the sentient beings from samsara, the sufferings of samsara. Right? That's the one aspect of the bodhicitta, or one character of the bodhicitta. Another aspect of the bodhicitta is that now upon to fully realize the suffering of sentient being, and you determined to free them from the suffering, now you are making a very crucial and decisive the mind, that is, you determined, you yourself want to be a Buddha. You want to achieve Buddhahood. I want to become a Buddha yourself in order to free all sentient beings from the suffering that you see and that you understood. And so now you upon taking the responsibility up onto your own shoulder, okay? You see, you tell yourself that, see, look, I know the sufferings. See, this is how much suffering that all sentient beings are going through. So now I'm going to free all those sentient beings in order to, and I want to achieve omniscienthood. I want to become the perfect enlightened one, just merely for the sake of all those sentient beings. So this second, the mind or the intention or the decisive mind you made and aimed to achieve the Buddhahood for the benefits of all sentient beings. So that is second aspect of the bodhicitta. Once you have these two aspects of the mind, once you develop the precious mind, which has these two, marked by these two unique spiritual quality, and then you are the practice you do, whatever you do, is Mahayana, and you are Bodhisattva. And so this is an example. I can give you an example. You can understand it better. For example, in a village or in a region, and so there happens one man, and there's 1,000 people, but it happens 1,000 people that everyone in that area in the region, and all of them are illiterate, and meaning that no one can read, no one can write in anything. All of them are never trained how to read and writing. And there happens one man who, upon see this scenario, this situation, and who finds it is really tremendous sufferings going on, and then he determined to say, I want to leave the village. I'm going to pursuing to take the training and pursuing the education and get myself become a scholar, and who can read writing and understand the literature. So then I will return, and I will bring the knowledge, the qualities, and the skills which I achieved, bring back to this region or this village, and to train every single one of them, and let them become the scholar and free them from illiteracy. So this man and his action and his intention is the Bodhisattva's intention. His action is the Bodhisattva's action, and this is why his intention is a Bodhisattva's intention, and his action is Bodhisattva's action, is because see, he is completely he's doing something, but completely focused on everyone from that region or the village, but not for himself. And by contrast, you can see similarly from that same area, there comes one man says, "Oh, I see no one knows how to read writing in this place, in this area. So how about how would it be great if I go to school and learn how to read and write and develop skills, then I can bring back, so I can help myself. So now I'm the one do not need to suffer, and because I don't read and writing like now. So this person." And he did exactly the same thing like the previous person. However, he started pursuing the education of himself because he understood his suffering. He says, "I want to free myself from the illiteracy. Okay, I wanted to become a scholar myself, so that way I don't have to experience this kind of ignorance and uneducated the sufferings caused by being unable to reading and writing." So then, of course, upon to receive and develop this, receive the education, develop the skill, and he himself maintain use just for his own sake of benefits and make his life as convenient and easier. So, but then all the benefits that he gets is just for himself and not for others. That's because he started and his intention was for himself. His action also was merely focused on his own benefits. So if you do this comparison, and you will see that so as a bodhisattva, and so you are intended to do something and to free others from the suffering, and you want to achieve the enlightenment, become a Buddha yourself again, and for the sake of all other sentient beings. There's no slight interest for yourself. That determines that your intention is bodhicitta, so intention, your action is bodhisattva's action.
다 데리즈 셈 gelakewala trazı yongo mar ngaro thamame pane nga rangsi zoita ta rang chewrzu batela ne dajin tam ngaro rang nga zo jen ta dajin ni chione nga zo se bor jeng na na ni nyen tang ni ga ya chabarchi alo pe tendegi ta yora mo yoro te jada tangbo ne changchi sem gom berse bala tangbo gom gar ya bor tangbo semba 동용 go 심지 담지 동용 go 동용 go 바이나 동용 가르지 고 가지 심지 담지 직바르지 삼노 삼노 담지 시바 말이 미 삼노 당당 가가요를 노동 약동지 참만다 몽고도 가도 가가요 때서 섬지 직바르요 말 나 직바 간다지 있는 것도 직바르 버치요 직바르 버가요 심지 담지 내와도 받은 심지 담지 능이모도 직바르 또 상마 직바르 침모이나 총총이나 이제 침모이나 교우이나 아니 지 상만 때 직바요 때서 때 삼동로 심지 담지 직바르 버치고 어떻게 심지 담지 내와도 받은 능이모도 직바르 어때 영지 영 삼도 당연히 아니 참전다 전 능은 통날 소수 셈나 소라지고 소수 남기 소수 능은 정도 수백강이요 셈나 소라요 나 전 능은 통날 소라지고 근데 소라데 때 총열도 소라디 장에니 심지도 담지 능은 있잖아 삼 삼도 고고 디냐 양지에서 그러 삼바 동용제 때니 동용 참여지데 양지 참여 양지 뭐니 지나 아니 전지라 뭐잡아라 데키치 담바지 그수 소파지요나 디노 셈나 데키 담다나 삼 미사마 랑일 남기 가로 디도 남지 소수 내와 주나 데키 담나서 맞성 쟁거 디나지 전나 셈나 가지고 심지 담지 내와 담다나 능은 담다나 아니 시디용나 텐데 삼로지 랑지 코르마 데 샤바르라 디 삼도 샤바 어때 심지 담지 내와 담다바 능은 저위 차 통용 수셈나 텐데 셈지 야기 손에 공부 손아 아니 젠디 동수 셈 소농 가와지 남기 소수 기부 종나 수셈나 소라 대화에 와서 젠 기부 종나 수셈나 대화 지금 소와티는 가와 참여지 참여 심지 탐지를 보면은 참여지도 보면서 랑진 것들이 공부 야야 정서 르미더니 딱 파비 삼바더니 딱 파비 삼바세도 랑도 젠 이거 간단하고 젠 대랑 조즈고다 지만 파비 삼바 정도 랑도 젠 지고르다 랑도 젠 지고르다 비 파비 삼바도 끼고서 뜨니 정 리그로 공수 탐지 제기도 땅토고요. 땅토에 니와 당다바시고요. 나는 알아 소소는 게좀 수땅토 버다나지. 자동 땅토 디 통수 뜨니까 상습니다. 그바진 로tom된다. 그런 검자를 받대 땅고 안에 동용 참여고 디지코 양지 참여고 디지코 샴바 참여들이 가고 되게 얼마지 공원이라 아주 단다 셈 차만이 받고 디가 뭐는 자도다 된데 이게 요래서 아니 샘 차기한부터 차송나 참 참아 쳐봤던 걸. 아니 나도 가도 제가 잡대 지스럼 기가 가와 본 거라. 근데 그다 얼마마 샘나 지지당 보는 거. 대자 소소 샘나 소소 샘고 지지당 당 소소 샘나 내기 삼아 샘이 좀 거. 그런 진전데 되는 좀 이제 지원은 좀 받이 나 타도라 소바 남도라 소바 동발라 소바 참아 내가 찾고 대자다 런지가 런지 대들라디오 치시마디오 아니 시디오 된지 착가래서 대자 때랑 가도 보면 돼 성지 생고 봐야지 샤마 당지가 손이 봐야지
Okay. So let's say now we all want to do something about and to improve or to develop this precious awakened mind and the bodhicitta. And so we need a manual. We need a GPS. We need a way and to achieve this goal. So to achieve this goal it means that you need to develop or generate bodhicitta, right? And or in other words, to transform your present mental attitude or the state of your mind and transform it. Transform your current state of mind or the mental attitude into that precious awakening mind, bodhicitta itself. Right? So the way, of course, this takes a great deal of practice, and it's involved with the the process of the meditation, right? Why this is need to go through the serious process, or and it has to take it and go through the very go through the process of and very dedicated the meditative practice. The reason we need to do it is because right now, right, our basic attitude, our state of mind, the present state of mind, present basic mental attitude is this. So among when we look at it, right, and out, when we think of anything, we always start from an egocentric point of view. In other words, we start from the self and aimed or zoom out, right, based on our sense of self. This basic sense of ourself, the current status of our basic sense of self is you are the center of the universe, and you are the most important thing. So in other words, our natural attitude towards ourselves and towards within this universe is that we always differentiate, make this clear differentiation or the distinction, that is I, others. Okay, we say I, me here, and others, you, others are there. So we make it a clear distinction. And within this distinction, of course, compared to others, we will think ourselves is always, we cherish ourselves much more, we love ourselves more, and we important ourselves is much more important. And we essentially is focused on ourselves, but not focused on others. So this is the reality. And secondly, so once we made this distinction, say me, I'm here, you, others, there, then what happened? Within that other, right? Within that other, right? And you there, we again make another distinction. So that distinction is we group in the others into three different categories. One is my beloved one, my family, my friends, and someone I loved very much. Okay, you make it as someone so close to you, right? You make it as a closeness. And others, you make it say, I don't know, who knows, and so you kind of attempt to leave it alone or ignore, right? And the third group, you're going to make say, I hate him, I hate them, or I hate her. So you say, then you label that group is my enemy or my foe, right? And someone who is or someone is rejectable, someone is you dislike. So see, So first you make I other, right? And then you make within other, you make as my friends, my enemy, and I don't know, right? So that's your basic attitude. So this basic attitude, of course, is really random, and it's spirit has no any spiritual quality, but it's harmful, and particularly compared to the mind of a precious mind of awakening. So now we need to meditate to change our attitude, shift our attitude to transform this kind of current our attitude, like we discussed before, into become the mind of precious enlightened mind, bodhicitta. So how we do it? Obviously, we need to meditate, and because transforming your mental attitude has to be done through the practice of meditation, or meditatively. You have to down this meditatively. So then, when you come to the meditation, again, that's involved with the process. Okay. So here, the process is that you have to take a first step. The first step is that you need to take on equanimity. Okay, you need to meditate on equanimity. So equanimity is you try to come above the current sense or current understanding of you and other, and your beloved ones, or your enemies, or the group of people you don't know or you don't care. You go above, right? Let your mind, right, and be able to sort of arise into the state, into a state, or merge to a level, and that is really consciously, right, deliberately, and make it those three and important, make it two important distinctions: I and other. Okay, you go above it. You see everyone without exception, absolute equal, absolutely same. This is same. You have to understand the same, and make sure you not misunderstand. When we say every sentient being is same, we're not referring to the particular individuals, how they appear, how they present themselves in the world, how they appear to you, how we see them culturally and conventionally. So culturally, conventionally, and we know we are not the same, because we do have these differences from a vision point of view, like a color. So it's the reality. We are different, and our skin color is different, and the shape of the body is different. Our social status is different, and our economical conditions, our levels of education, and our personal abilities, right, and the individualities, all these are different. We are not the same in this regard. Okay, this is reality. We have to understand. But we got to see here, it doesn't matter what kind of skin color you are, the level of education, or how much you possess economically, or how wealthy you are, how poor you are, or how well educated you are not, or what kind of religion you follow, whatever. We have one thing that's absolutely the same. Okay, absolutely same. Disregard those 100,000 differences. At this one point, we all are same. That is, as far as the happiness is concerned, we all want to be happy. Okay, same, no distinction. And then as far as do not want the suffering, try hard to avoid suffering, we all are same. Disregard the or any other distinctions. We all the same. So therefore, when you practice this equanimity as a first step of your meditation towards to develop your precious awakening mind, is equanimity. So equanimity here is the sameness. The sameness is this point. Okay, the point of just like me, I do not want suffering, but I want to be happy. And similarly, all other infinite numbers of people out there, they all we regard without less out, without any exception, they all want to be happy. They all try to avoid or overcome the suffering. So at this particular regard, we all are same. So you are equal. The meditation, the object of your meditation at this point of the equanimity, right? The practice of the equanimity has to be focused on this, right? When you really meditate well on this sameness, right? The sameness of the desire for happiness, right? And fear of suffering. When you really understand the same, no distinction whatsoever, then what happened? Your successful meditation on this crucial point, meditation on equanimity, will give you many different spiritual, surprisingly wonderful qualities. One quality is that, so as a result of your meditation, right, a successful meditation, now, and you began to feel that naturally you want to do something about to address or to free and others, to help out others and from the sufferings, right? So in other words, you will naturally go through the process of four immeasurable thoughts, the meditations of or the practice of four immeasurable thoughts. The first immeasurable thought is you wish all sentient beings and be happy and endure the causes of happiness. At the same time, and so you also, this is the practice of the kindness. So you become very kind to others, right? This is naturally you will experience the kindness because of your practice, your understanding of the sameness or the equanimity and in your meditation. And then you become so kind, and the kindness will become your spiritual quality, and your naturally will be arise from your mind. And secondly, you also would determined and have this strong and desire. You want to free all others from the suffering. And so this is the second immeasurable thoughts, the immeasurable thoughts of compassion. You will become so compassionate. You not only wish that others can be happy and have the causes of happiness, and but now you determined and you want to free you with your own effort, okay, by yourself, with your effort, by making effort yourself to free others from the suffering and causes of suffering. So that's the compassion, the second immeasurable thought. Then the thirdly, and as a result of this practice, whenever you see people rejoice their life and enjoy their life, having a good time. For example, they've been promoted and they become wealthy, and then now they have a better life, and the people love them, and they are now famous. So at this point, because of your successful meditative practice on these crucial points, and then instead of previously you feel bitter, you feel it's a kind of hard to take in and hard to accept, and or naturally, right? Naturally rejoice. Now you become really naturally feel so great and so happy for others' happiness, right? And instead of experience the jealousy, that which you did, you probably did before, prior to this point, and now, and as a result of your meditation and equanimity, and through the practice of the kindness and compassion, right? Now, when you see anybody who is happy, and you will experience any jealousy at all, but you're going to naturally, sincerely rejoice and what they have and how happy they are. And then the next you will move to is that we got to what do we call is altruistic intention. Right? Altruistic intention or special attitude, a special intention, or extraordinary intention. So you develop this extraordinary intention, and that is the now you're going to shift right? Shift your focus, your basic mental attitude from the previous mental attitude. Previously, we know that you always focus on yourself. You think that you are more important, you are the center, and so everything start by concerning concerned your own benefits, right? But at this point, when you reach the practice of special intention or altruistic intention, altruistic attitude, what happens is that you are now shifting. You are kind of thinking, looking, and doing the things by putting other people as first, right? And you take others and you put yourself in the other's position and make others as yourself, right? So you do anything, you aim to achieve anything, and then and that is merely for the sake of others' benefits, but not for yourself. So this practice and gradually, right? If you do practice well and gradually, and as a successful practice in this altruistic intention, or exchange self with exchange self for others, and what happens is that even you can reach the point where, if it's necessary, you have no slight doubt to donate your body and even sacrifice your life. Right? You will have no any doubt about it. You will happily to do that. Why? Because now you are shifted. You completely shifted your attitude. Your view and your the attitude completely is now the others centeredness. Right? It's the others centeredness from the previous self-centeredness. Now it's become others self-centeredness. So therefore, you can do that joyfully and very freely. So anyway. So our practice of bodhicitta has to start with by equalizing yourself with other, and then try to reach the sameness. The point of the sameness is as far as the suffering concerned, you and others are the same. As far as the happiness are desired, and you and others are the same. And then from this sameness, the successful meditation of the sameness, and then you can move on to become very kind, and you become very kind and to others, and then the kindness and from the kindness, and then now you become very compassionate, and so you wanted to not just make others happy, but bring the joys to others. Joy or happiness to others, but you want to free others from the suffering, and particularly from the samsaric suffering, and then you will move on, and so your attitude will be completely changed, and now come to the becomes whenever you see others are happy, doing well and do better than you, and doing well than you, and richer than you, or more successful than you, and you are naturally, sincerely, really feel happy for them, and has no jealousy, and has no any attitude to want to compete with them, or do say something or do something against it, but rather is naturally and rejoice them. And then from there, and you will develop this special intention, and or the altruistic attitude or intention. That is, you're going to switch your importance, the sense of your self-centeredness or self-importance, and to switch to others' importance or others' centeredness. Yeah. So today, and I suggest you, and so let's do practice meditation for 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes. Let's practice meditation for 15 minutes. In the next 15 minutes, I suggest you and meditate on this what we just discussed. Okay, start with equanimity, and then go more on to the kindness, and then move on to the compassion, and then move on to the immeasurable thoughts of rejoicement or rejoicement, and then move on to altruistic intention or altruistic attitude. We do this for 15 minutes.